Let's talk about fall color. With Japanese maples, that is what everyone loves about them. It's just amazing fall color. Today, we're going to discuss what is fall color, the pigments that play a role in fall color, really showing all those bright, vibrant colors. We're going to talk about the role that environmental factors can play in causing good fall color, and some of those you can't control, and some of those you can control. And so we're going to discuss all about fall color with Japanese maples. Get excited. Hey y'all, I'm Tim Nichols of MrMaple.com. We're a small family business. We do over 1,000 varieties of Japanese maples, and Japanese maples are known for their fall color. So we're hitting this video today all about fall color, especially with Japanese maples. This sort of plays a role in a lot of plants that give you fall color out there, but Japanese maples are known for that. Here at Mr. Maple, we do the largest selection of Japanese maples in the country in the United States, and we mail order ship directly to your door. So check us out on MrMaple.com, and also check us out here on YouTube, where we put out daily content all about Japanese maples. And if you love fall color, guys, continue on with this video and make sure you share this with your video with your gardening friends. Now, years ago, Matt and I, we'd go to tailgate markets and all these different garden shows. And we were down in Columbia, South Carolina, and often someone will just come up at a garden show and you may not have time to speak to every single customer, and someone will just hand you cash and grab a tree and walk away. Well, someone had done that with Hogyoku, and they called us up, several months later, and they said, and they were almost in tears, and they're like, my tree, it's turning orange. And I don't know what's going on. Am I killing my Japanese maple? And then we start telling them that a Japanese maple like Hogyoku goes to fall color right before it drops its leaves. And the guy's like, it's going to drop its leaves? He had no idea. And that's what we're discussing today, is fall color. We don't want to catch anybody by surprise, like that gentleman was at the garden show years ago with Hogyoku going to a brilliant fall color. Eventually, after having a discussion with him, the guy was, ecstatic, realizing that it's going to do this each and every season, and it became something positive to look forward to. But fall color is a unique process. What it is, it's the beginning of the tree shutting down, which is something that's very unusual in the plant world, that something shutting down can be so beautiful. It's something that Western North Carolina is known for here. If you go to the mountains of Western North Carolina in the fall, we have just amazing fall colors of plants going to all different shades. And here locally, it's actually the red maple that is known for some of its best fall color, Acer rubrum, where you just see reds across the mountain. Actually, and some of our tulip poplars go to yellows, giving just this amazing contrast color, and a lot of other trees playing along in the symphony of fall. I mean, it is gorgeous. And that's what people want in their garden with Japanese maples. When with 1,500 different varieties of Japanese maples, there's all different types of fall colors you can pick and go with in your garden. And it's a fun process. But this process is that plant shutting down. It's putting all of its energy, those sugars that the chlorophyll, see, the chlorophyll is the part that makes the green in the leaves. And that's actually part of the process that plays in actually showing the red on some of your red Japanese maples as well. There's a lot of pigments playing all at one point, but chlorophyll is in that red of the leaf as well. And so what you've got is it just playing together to shut down, and the sugars are going to the roots as that plant is getting ready for winter. And if that plant's getting ready for winter and shutting down, you're going to get a better fall color, because that is when the sugars are going to the roots and all the pigments are playing the role that they're made to play. It's something that's kind of interesting, and there's a lot of factors that sort of play a part of this. One thing that's kind of unique is that some maples have evolved where it's not just what people think of environmental factors that play a role. And I say environmental factors that you think of with, your temperature, your rain, and some other things we'll go into a little bit. One unique set of environmental factors that we don't typically think about that can actually change fall color on some Japanese maples, specifically many of the Acer japonicums, is the length of the day. As the daylight decreases going into the fall, it can actually trigger some of your cultivars that people may have in their garden, like Acer japonicum, aconitifolium, also known as Meikujaku. It can actually trigger that to start fall color early. So you may find that many of your Acer japonicum varieties, those full moon Acer japonicums, can actually have an early fall color compared to many of your other Japanese maples. And that is something that's very interesting in this whole dynamics of fall color. Now, some things like drought can actually cause an early fall color on many of your Japanese maples. You can get a drought that you may even start to get some fall color in the summer, but many of these fall colors caused by drought are short-lived. And that's because a drought causes the plant to shut down, but it's not giving consistent watering to allow that fall color to last for a longer period of time. Now, soil temperature plays a role in this. Shade can actually play a role in this as well, because in the shade, a plant may shut down quicker than a plant that's in the sun and is staying more active. And that's if you've got consistent watering. This is just something to consider. There are pigments in this process that play important roles. Often if we look at something like your red fall colors, you typically think of many Japanese maples. That is something that's an anthocyanin that actually begins at the beginning process of fall color. Another thing that's considered is senescence. Senescence is that plant starting to shut down. We've got a whole video on the science behind fall color. We go into this a little more in depth with a former president of the International Maple Society, Augustin Coelho Vera. You can go check out that video as well. But the reds actually come into the leaf often in the fall and start to play a role with some other pigments in the leaf to give you some of that red color. Now, the red is often an indicator that you're getting, people believe act as like a sunscreen on the leaf. So often trees that have a little more sun may show a little bit more of that red color based on having that anthocyanin in the leaf. Now, oranges are often from carotenoids. And those are already in the leaf, but they're actually becoming more visible as the chlorophyll leaves the leaf and those sugars go to the roots of the plant. Flavonoids, that's the pigment that plays a lot of the yellows, and that's already in the leaf as well. And more flavonoids can actually be produced in the shade. So you may have some plants that you'd think would go to a little more red fall color, but if it's in more shade, certain cultivars, their genetics will actually display more yellow in those conditions. Where if you put that tree in the sun, you may actually get some of those anthocyanins that actually come in and play a role in giving more red fall color on that exact same cultivar. So that is some of the variation we see on some fall colors on different cultivars, is the sunlight versus shade exposure. So that's something to consider. Now, environmental factors play a big role on all of your trees in the fall. You know, we just talked about shade versus sun, yellow versus a little more red. But let's talk about how to get more consistent fall color on your Japanese maples. One thing that's really important to consider is having a healthy tree. A healthy tree is going to have healthier leaves in the fall. If you've got a tree that has a lot of powdery mildew or a lot of spider mites, we've got videos here on the MrMaple Show talking about those specific things. You know, you may not have as healthy leaves in the fall. And if you do have unhealthy leaves, it's not the end of the world, because remember, Japanese maples, they're deciduous trees. They drop their leaves, you get a reset. In the spring, you get fresh leaves again, and you got next year to try with that good fall color. But there are certain things that we can do besides keeping a healthy plant to make sure that we aren't hindering fall color. One of the things that people often do to hinder fall color is fertilize. Think about it. Fall color is the plant shutting down and going through these processes. If you're fertilizing in late summer or fall, you're actually keeping that tree more active. And keeping that tree more active is going to cause less fall color and less intensity of fall color and less length of fall color because the plant isn't shutting down. It is actually still active. And that's exactly opposite of what we want when we want to try to promote good fall color. So fertilize in the proper times, which is early spring. Those bag mixes, we have a lot of videos we talk about this, but they often have a 90 or 180 day release. And if you're doing that where it's not only dumping late in the season, but it's promoting a lot of growth late in the season, you're messing up your fall color by fertilizing at the wrong time. So just keep in mind, fertilizing early spring, that's the best time to do it. Don't do it in the summer or the fall. Now, pruning is the same thing. Pruning in the late summer or early fall can encourage growth. It's the wrong time of the season to prune. Pruning is best done in late winter to promote growth. And if you're pruning in mid to late summer or early fall, you're encouraging more growth, and you're also doing it at a time of the season when the trees take longer to heal. So you're having an open wound longer in the season. Let's not prune in the fall. Let's not prune in the late summer, and you're going to have a better, more consistent fall color. Now, while drought can cause that early fall color that's, something that is short-lived, trees that dry out can cause a fall color. So that is one thing. If you get a fall color because of a drought, you can get a fall color maybe in Texas if you have a drought going in late into the season, but it won't last very long. But a tree, an environmental factor you can control, is watering that plant consistently and then letting it dry out in between waterings. Now, that will cause a more consistent fall color, and that's an environmental factor that you can help to promote your best fall color on your Japanese maple. Now, there's also many factors that we can't control. One of those factors that we can't control is temperature drops. If you have, for instance, just a early hard freeze in the fall, what you're going to have is those leaves just get fried up, and sometimes they just even hang on the tree themselves. It's a condition that's called marsenescence, and we've got a whole video on what is marsenescence. Why are my leaves hanging on my trees? You can go check out that video as well. But that early freeze will cause those leaves to fry up, and you won't get good fall color. Other environmental factors that you can't control are storms. With storms bring heavy amounts of rainfall, which sometimes can knock the leaves off of the trees themselves, but also those heavy winds. If you've got a tree shutting down and you've got just this heavy winds coming by, because those leaves aren't really hanging onto the tree the same as they were in the spring, they may fall off early. And so that's another thing that you can't really control with fall color on Japanese maples, are the storms in the fall that might just wreck your fall color, unfortunately. Fall color is a complicated process that plays with different roles of pigments and their relation to environmental and genetic factors. You can control what you can with cultivar selection. Like I talked about, if you're in an area where you may have bad fall color, think about trying some of the Acer japonicums that go to fall color with the length of the day, and you may have a more consistent fall color on some of your Japanese maples in your garden. Think about watering, how you can have it a consistent watering, so you can get a longer fall color that's not induced by drought. Think about fertilizing and pruning at the proper times to make sure that you're not keeping those trees too active going into the fall. And think about sunlight conditions that may play a role. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're in a hot area, giving them some shade will actually cause them to go to fall color sometimes a little earlier, where sunlight may keep them going active later into the season. And figure out how to manipulate the conditions that you can to get the best fall color for you. Japanese maples are known for their fall color, and we love it. It's one of the things that we love about Japanese maples. Spring colors are amazing, but fall colors are an intensity that rival no other tree, especially with Japanese maples. It's some of the most beautiful things in the garden. And I hope this video helped you understand a little bit of the process in fall color with Japanese maples. Y'all, thanks so much for joining in today. Make sure you subscribe here on the MrMaple Show and share this video with your gardening friends so they can learn about fall color with Japanese maples. Take care, God bless, and have a great day.